So some people have the luxury of going full no contact with a narcissist in their lives. And for those of us who have to maintain some level of contact, that sounds almost like a dream. Now, it's never easy, but you know when you have to deal with this person for whatever reason, you know that it's always going to be difficult or have the potential to be difficult and frustrating. And that's because narcissists use the same tactics to get to you. They want to throw you off your game. They want to get you frazzled. They want to get you emotional so you look like the bad guy. Now, in this video, we're going to cover 5 tactics they use over and over and over again in different ways so you can be prepared. But I want to give you a little bit of a warning. If you've been through this, and I'm guessing you have, just even listening to some of the examples that I have might make your blood boil a little bit. But it's for a good reason. It's for self-preservation. So we're going to talk about not only the tactics, but the ways that you can protect yourself against them. Stay tuned. Welcome to the Common Ego community. My name is Christina, and on this channel we talk about emotional abuse, spirituality, self-healing, and so much more. So if that all sounds good, like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you can be notified whenever I post new videos. So today we're talking about something that, I'm sorry in advance, might frustrate you a little bit. But if it is frustrating you, it's because you have a narcissist in your life that you probably can't get rid of. Maybe it's somebody you have kids with, maybe it is somebody you work with, or maybe it's a family member you see at family functions. But this narcissist keeps popping up into your life and you can't seem to get rid of them. But what's worse is that they always seem to find a way to trigger you. And why is that? Because that's what they're trying to do. And they use 5 techniques very commonly to trigger you and to get to you. Their goal is to get under your skin so that you react emotionally and they have their hands clean. So we're going to review each of these tactics and what to do about it. Let's jump in. All right, so the first tactic is the hidden insult. Now, depending on the person, this could be super hidden, like to the point where you might not even realize they insulted you until you walk away and kind of think about what just happened. That's when they're really good at it. But other times it's just really frustrating because it sounds like they're saying something nice, but you know they're not. Now, if you watched Everybody Loves Raymond, you know what I'm talking about when I talk about the hidden insult, because that was Marie Barone's go-to. She would always say something insulting to Deborah, but it would be under the guise of helpful, nice information. Like, oh, I don't know why nobody had your dinner rolls. I liked them. I thought the burnt part gave it a really good flavor. Now, you know the intention behind it because you know the person. Now, maybe you don't know that show or whatever, but you know when it's happening in your own life. Somebody's giving you kind of like an underhanded compliment. And if you don't know them well enough, you might not be sure. But then once you get to know them a little bit better, you know exactly what they're doing, and you know it's not a compliment at all. It's actually a dig. And the problem with this is if you react emotionally, if you call them out, you're going to be the one who's making waves. So they're saying it in a way that is flowing with the conversation. It's really nice and it's very flowery. They're still insulting you, but they're keeping it with the flow of the conversation. So if you react emotionally, you're bringing that conversation to a halt, and you're the one creating an awkward moment. That is, unless everybody knows what this person's doing, in which case they probably won't do it so much. Now, like all of these tactics, they're not easy to deal with. But the best thing you can do, there are 2 things you can do. You can, 1, just completely ignore it. Pretend that person said nothing, don't even look at them. And that's probably the easiest thing to do, especially if you've got an emotional reaction going on inside that you're having difficulty suppressing. The second thing you can do is a little bit more difficult, but you can take that compliment or whatever the nice thing that they're saying is at face value. They're trying to make it look like they're being nice, but they're not actually being nice. They don't actually have good intentions. So if you take it at face value, if you take it at their good intentions, and actually if you can sell that and make them believe that you actually genuinely appreciate what they said, it's gonna irritate them. Because that's not their intention. That was not their intended outcome when they insulted you. They didn't want to make you feel good. So if it appears that what they said made you feel good, it's going to bother them. And they might try even harder to upset you, which would in turn make them the bad guy and not you. So that's a way that, if you can pull it off, can turn it around on them. Okay, so the second tactic they use are hidden triggers. And this is a narcissist who knows you well. And it could even be somebody that you work with if you've worked closely enough with them. If they know something is going to upset you, they can casually drop something around that topic into a conversation or ask you a question about it. So you're likely to react emotionally and get annoyed at the narcissist for asking these questions, but you don't want to explain it to everybody else. So you end up looking like you're getting emotional and being upset over nothing. And it's not over nothing. It's because you know that there's a topic you don't want to talk about. They know that there's a topic you don't want to talk about, but they're bringing it up on purpose because they know you're kind of stuck in a corner. But with a covert narcissist, it's probably not going to come up in a direct way. It's going to come up in a roundabout way. They didn't specifically ask you about it. They didn't specifically ask you to tell that story that you don't want to tell. But you end up reliving that story in your mind in front of everybody. And at best, it makes you feel awkward. So the coded triggers are kind of like landmines. You don't know when they're going to come up. You don't always know what it's going to be. But the best thing that you can do, and this is not an easy answer, the best thing you can do is work on yourself and being okay with you and your decisions, and especially the things that you've previously not been okay with. So they're gonna know that you're not okay with those things, and that's what they're gonna push. Those are the buttons they're gonna push. So really the best way is to kind of think about the things that they could use against you, the things that they could use, even things that have nothing to do with them or the current situation. Think about the things that might upset you that they know, and just try to be prepared for it to somehow sneakily end up in conversation. And when you're prepared, it's a little bit easier to manage that. The third tactic a narcissist will use to get to you, especially in group situations, is the cold shoulder or disapproving glances. Covert narcissists love to keep you guessing. So if you show up to an event and they're not talking to you, or they just somehow look disgusted by your very presence, it's probably going to throw you off your game, because even if you don't really care what this person thinks, these things tend to get to us, especially when we don't know why. If it's a mystery, well, I have no idea why that person would be looking at me that way. So you kind of want to ask them. You want to bring it out. You want to bring this to light, whatever's going on here. But when you do, you're the one who created the awkward situation, not them. Okay, so the fourth tactic a narcissist will use to disarm you is gaslighting. So gaslighting they use throughout your relationship, afterwards. Gaslighting is a narcissist's go-to, whether they're a covert narcissist or not. Now, they want you to question your reality. And when you're in a relationship with this person, when you are speaking to them regularly, maybe you live with them, it's really easy for them to gaslight you, and they will do it constantly. But if you have kind of broken contact and are in a gray rock position with this person, they can still gaslight you. And they might do it to make you feel or look foolish in front of other people. And especially if they have been gaslighting you for years, it's going to be easier for them to do it because they know exactly how to get to you. So you walk away from the encounter, whether it's in front of other people or not, you walk away from the encounter questioning yourself. And that is the intended result. So gaslighting it's just awful. And that's something that you should always expect from a narcissist. If you're dealing with a whole lot of gaslighting in your life and in your relationship, especially with a narcissist in your life, I suggest you start keeping a journal of all the things that this person actually says, how you felt in the moment, and any intuition you may have about the situation. So you can go back to it and you can start recognizing the patterns. If you're talking about different things, if you're being gaslighted about different subjects, it can be easy to think of them individually. And the narcissist will try to compartmentalize these things so you're not connecting the dots. But when you keep a journal of what actually happened and separate the actual facts from the things that you felt and the things that you believed to be true, you're gonna start to see that there are patterns that link all of these seemingly unrelated scenarios. And that can help you when you start doing some reality checking in your own life. Is this real? Is this fake? Can I trust myself? When you see the patterns that this person exhibits, and when you see all of it out there in black and white, it's gonna start to help you trust yourself again moving forward. Okay, so the fifth tactic that the covert narcissist will use to disarm you is one that I haven't talked a lot about specifically in my videos, but I'm gonna outline it today. The fifth tactic is tunnel vision. And this is often very closely related and linked into word salad, but it is a little bit different. So tunnel vision is when the narcissist picks one little thing that you mentioned that could be almost completely unrelated to the topic or to your point. They pick that one little thing and they focus on it, and they start asking you questions about that thing, and they start arguing about that thing. And you're like, wait a second, I brought up this whole conversation and that's not what I was trying to talk about. They do this a lot in arguments, but they can do it in any situation. You could be telling a story to a group of people, and let's say you're venting about somebody at work. Maybe you're a nurse and somebody who does not have a nursing degree, does not have any sort of medical expertise, is telling you how to do your job. So you're venting about it. And sorry for the person in this example, because the person who doesn't have any expertise and is telling you how to do your job might be a narcissist. And if you're telling this in front of another narcissist, you probably have a lot of narcissists in your life. But the narcissist you're telling this story to may, just for example, pick apart the fact that you don't appreciate advice from somebody who doesn't have the schooling or expertise. And they may twist it to make it seem like you think you're better than that person, or you're looking down on that person. And then they twist it to all people who have that same background as that person did. They take one little kernel and they will blow it up, and it just becomes a different conversation. And you can see how this would benefit somebody in an argument, but they might even do something like that to make you look bad in front of other people, or to just throw you off your game, to make you start questioning yourself again. Because whatever it is, whatever they're pulling out, whatever they have their tunnel vision on, it's not painting you in a good light. Even though they're twisting it so far from actual reality, it doesn't really matter. They're putting you on the defensive. And this could even be a one-on-one conversation where you're forced to defend yourself. And the conversation did not start that way at all. It was not even about that. It wasn't meant to be an argument, but you end up feeling defensive, feeling like you have to defend yourself, and it ends up being an argument. And to be honest, if you follow the narcissist's lead, you're not going to end up looking good in this situation. So the best thing you could do, in my opinion, is to end the conversation quickly. Say, hey, listen, that's not what I said. That's not what I meant. I was simply bringing this up for this reason. You're twisting it to another level. Now let's talk about something else. Okay, so those are 5 tactics that a covert narcissist will use to disarm you during a conversation, whether you're alone with that person or whether you're in a group. And they kind of just do it to make you feel bad and look bad. And I am sorry if this video, if these 5 tactics frustrated you, because they are frustrating. We know they are. But I hope that you found this video helpful. And if you did, please let me know by hitting that like button. And if you'd like to see more like it, subscribe, and I will see you next time.